1 week since the bodies of Gene Hackman, his wife Betsy Arakawa, and one of their dogs were found deceased in their 9,000 square foot Santa Fe home.
A quiet, somber atmosphere enveloped the scene in the hours leading up to the moment when the agency's disclosure shook the cultural landscape. In a move that reverberated through the corridors of both the entertainment world and government institutions, the FBI unveiled previously unseen footage captured within the private sanctuary of a renowned actor during the final moments of his life. The revelation was not merely about an ending, but about a poignant glimpse into a storied life, a life lived in the glare of fame yet steeped in personal solitude and mystery. The imagery, subtle in its presentation yet laden with significance, invites a reflective journey into the intricacies of legacy, privacy, and the unforeseen intersections of celebrity and state authority. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The footage, taken within the confines of a modest yet tastefully decorated residence, portrayed the actor in a state of quiet vulnerability. The camera, positioned in a corner of a room that had clearly witnessed many moments of introspection, captured a man whose celebrated on-screen persona stood in stark contrast to his unguarded human reality. His expressions, though faint and fleeting, spoke of a complex inner life, a tapestry of memories, regrets, and the bittersweet acceptance of mortality. In those final moments, the familiar sparkle of cinematic charisma softened, replaced by the unmistakable weight of an individual confronting the inevitability of an end. The visual record provided an intimate portrayal that far exceeded the superficial narratives constructed by tabloids or sensational headlines. This revelation by the FBI, an agency more commonly associated with investigations into matters of national security or criminal justice, has ushered in a debate that extends beyond the boundaries of law enforcement. The presence of such personal content in the public sphere raises fundamental questions about the balance between governmental transparency and individual privacy. The act of disclosing footage from a private residence, regardless of its context, invites scrutiny about the limits of state intervention in personal domains. The decision to release the content appears to be driven by an impulse to shed light on facets of a public figure's life that have hitherto remained in the shadows. Yet this very impulse also serves as a stark reminder of the pervasive reach of governmental agencies into lives that were once thought to be securely cocooned behind closed doors. Central to the implications of this disclosure is the discussion on consent and the ethical boundaries of archival documentation. The actor, having built a career on characters that defied expectations and challenged societal norms, now stands as a symbol of the tension between public interest and personal dignity. The fact that the footage was obtained without an active invitation for public display prompts a broader conversation about how society negotiates the intersection of legacy and privacy. In the absence of overt consent, the unveiling of such personal material can be seen as both a tribute to the enduring interest in the actor's life and an invasion of a final private moment that many believe should remain untouched by the public eye. The ethical dilemma here is not one of legality alone, but of the deeper, more nuanced understanding of what it means to honor a person's memory without overstepping the boundaries of their personal narrative. The implications of this event extend into the realms of cultural memory and the construction of historical narratives. The footage, by capturing the actor in a state of unfiltered reality, provides a rare glimpse into the human side of a figure who has long been idolized for his larger-than-life roles and commanding screen presence. In a society that is often quick to mythologize its heroes, the exposure of such raw emotion and vulnerability carries the potential to reshape the public's understanding of what it means to be a celebrated individual. It challenges the dichotomy between public persona and private identity, suggesting that even those who seem invincible on screen are subject to the same frailties and uncertainties as any other human being. This revelation, therefore, serves as a potent reminder that behind every storied career lies a personal journey marked by both triumph and inevitable decline. In examining the event, one must consider the broader context of how governmental institutions engage with cultural figures. The FBI's decision to reveal the footage can be interpreted as an exercise in transparency, a demonstration of the agency's willingness to disclose its activities and holdings to the public. However, this act of transparency is not without controversy. The release of such intimate content blurs the lines between public service and the inadvertent exploitation of a private moment. It raises questions about the motivations behind the disclosure. Was it an attempt to provide closure to a storied career? Or did it serve a broader, perhaps more politically or culturally motivated agenda? The timing and manner of the release suggest a calculated effort to intertwine the narrative of a celebrated life with the enduring presence of state institutions, thereby embedding the individual's legacy within the official record of national history. Another layer of complexity is added when considering the symbolic resonance of the footage. In the realm of cultural symbolism, the private space of an individual's home is often regarded as a sacred refuge, a place where the masks worn in public are finally removed and the unvarnished truth of one's existence is revealed. The intrusion of a state agency into this intimate setting transforms a moment of personal vulnerability into a public spectacle. The implications of this transformation are profound, as they speak to the evolving nature of celebrity in an age where the boundaries between public and private life are increasingly porous. The actor's final moments, now immortalized on film, become a canvas upon which broader societal debates about privacy, dignity, and the right to a dignified farewell are projected. Beyond the immediate ethical and cultural considerations, the event prompts a re-evaluation of historical documentation practices. The use of technology to capture and preserve moments that might otherwise be lost to time has always been a double-edged sword. On one hand, it allows for the preservation of history in a manner that is both vivid and immediate. On the other, it opens the door to interpretations and narratives that may not align with the individual's own understanding of their legacy. The footage, in its stark realism, forces a confrontation with the unfiltered truth of mortality, a truth that many have attempted to deflect through artifice and performance. In doing so, it contributes to an ongoing dialogue about how society remembers its icons and the role that technology plays in mediating those memories. The release also brings to the forefront the tension between the public's right to know and an individual's right to privacy. In a democratic society, there is an expectation that the state will act in the public interest, and transparency is often hailed as a cornerstone of accountability. Yet, when the subject of that transparency is a private individual, even one of considerable fame, the right to personal dignity must also be weighed. The actor's final moments, captured without his express consent for public dissemination, now serve as a focal point for discussions about where the line should be drawn. This tension is emblematic of broader societal shifts in attitudes toward privacy in the digital age, where the boundaries of what is considered public and private are constantly being redefined by rapid technological advancements and evolving cultural norms. The implications of the FBI's release extend into the realm of legal and procedural considerations as well. The manner in which the footage was obtained, stored, and ultimately released may set precedents for future interactions between governmental agencies and private individuals. There exists an inherent tension between the need for state institutions to safeguard national interests and the imperative to protect individual rights. As debates ensue regarding the propriety of such disclosures, legal scholars and policymakers are likely to examine the ramifications of this event on future cases where similar circumstances may arise. The legal landscape, already complex in its interplay between state authority and individual freedom, may see new interpretations and guidelines emerge as a result of the issues highlighted by this release. A further dimension of the implications concerns the cultural impact of such revelations on public perception of celebrity and mortality. For decades, the public has been enamored with the mystique of iconic figures, often preferring to view them through a lens that emphasizes their greatest achievements rather than their most human vulnerabilities. The unveiling of the footage shatters this carefully constructed image, replacing it with a raw and unvarnished portrayal of a man confronting the inevitability of his own mortality. This confrontation serves as a sobering reminder that fame, no matter how luminous, is not a shield against the universal experiences of loss, regret, and the passage of time. In this light, the event challenges the cultural narrative that has long celebrated eternal youth and invincibility, suggesting instead that the final chapters of life are imbued with a profound sense of humility and introspection. The narrative woven by this footage reaches deep into the fabric of how society constructs memory and identity. The actor's legacy, which has been built on years of performances that transcended the ordinary, is now interlaced with the stark reality of his personal finality. This interplay between public legend and private truth has the potential to alter the collective memory of his career, transforming it from a series of celebrated moments into a more complex tapestry that acknowledges the full spectrum of his existence. The implications here are far-reaching, as they invite both fans and critics alike to reassess what they consider to be the true measure of a life well lived. It is a measure that now seems to encompass not only the glittering successes, but also the quiet, often unremarked moments of introspection and vulnerability. At its core, the event forces a confrontation with the timeless question of how we, as a society, choose to remember and honor those who have shaped our cultural landscape. The footage, by virtue of its raw authenticity, disrupts the sanitized narratives often propagated by media and public relations teams. Instead, it offers a glimpse into a more genuine, albeit transient reality, one where the boundaries between art and life blur, and the true essence of a person is laid bare. This revelation is significant not merely as a record of a final moment, but as a symbol of the inevitable collision between the human desire for control over one's own story and the external forces that seek to document and, at times, manipulate that story for broader purposes. A reflection on this event naturally leads to considerations of how technology and media converge to shape the narratives of public figures. The tools that once served to immortalize heroic deeds and iconic performances now have the capacity to capture the most intimate aspects of an individual's final hours. The interplay between these technological advancements and the institutional power of agencies such as the FBI underscores the complex dynamics at work in modern society. As digital records become increasingly accessible and pervasive, the traditional boundaries that once safeguarded personal privacy are being continuously redrawn. The release of the footage is a stark illustration of this shift, a moment when the private life of a revered figure becomes intertwined with the public record, forever altering the way his story is told and remembered. In the midst of this multifaceted event, it is essential to consider the broader societal implications of such disclosures. The convergence of government authority with cultural history raises important questions about the stewardship of personal legacies and the responsibilities of public institutions. There exists an inherent challenge in reconciling the pursuit of transparency with the need to preserve the dignity of individuals whose lives have been marked by both public adulation and private struggle. The moment captured on film serves as a microcosm of this ongoing negotiation, a delicate balance between the public's insatiable curiosity and the inalienable right of an individual to experience their final moments away from the intrusive gaze of society. This balance, once disrupted, has the potential to reshape not only how future disclosures are managed, but also how society at large conceptualizes the boundaries of personal and public life. The impact of this release extends beyond the immediate sphere of celebrity and government oversight to touch on the deeper philosophical questions of mortality and remembrance. The image of a celebrated actor in the quiet confines of his home, facing the twilight of his existence, is a powerful reminder of the ephemeral nature of human life. It challenges the cultural obsession with eternal fame and forces a reckoning with the inevitability of decline, a universal truth that transcends the boundaries of social status or achievement. In this confrontation with mortality, there is a lesson to be gleaned about the true value of a life that is measured not only by public accolades, but also by the private moments that define our most intimate experiences. The significance of this realization reverberates across the collective consciousness, inviting a more nuanced and compassionate understanding of what it means to truly live. The disclosure has also sparked a dialogue about the role of memory in shaping collective identity. The footage, by capturing an unguarded moment, contributes to the ongoing process by which society constructs and reconstructs the identities of those who have left an indelible mark on history. It serves as a reminder that memory is not static, but rather an evolving narrative that is constantly being reinterpreted in light of new evidence and perspectives. The act of preserving such a moment, even if it was never intended for public consumption, reinforces the idea that the true essence of an individual cannot be fully contained within the confines of public performance or media representation. Instead, it is in the quiet, unobserved moments that the core of one's humanity is revealed, prompting a reevaluation of what constitutes an authentic legacy. In contemplating the broader implications of the FBI's disclosure, it becomes apparent that the event is emblematic of a deeper cultural shift. The traditional demarcation between the personal and the public has long been a subject of contention, but recent technological advancements and evolving societal expectations have brought this issue into sharper focus. The footage serves as a vivid illustration of this tension, encapsulating the moment when the private sphere is forcibly transformed into a public artifact. It underscores the idea that no matter how carefully one constructs a persona for the world, the inevitability of human vulnerability remains ever present. This realization, unsettling as it may be, is a critical reminder of the complex interplay between individual autonomy and collective memory in a rapidly changing world. Moreover, the event invites reflection on the responsibilities that come with handling such sensitive material. Institutions tasked with safeguarding the public interest are faced with the challenge of balancing their duty to inform with the imperative to respect personal boundaries. The release of the footage underscores the need for clear guidelines and ethical considerations when dealing with archival content that captures the intimate moments of a person's life. It is a call to reevaluate the standards by which such material is treated, ensuring that future disclosures are handled with the utmost sensitivity and respect for the individuals involved. This is not merely a matter of policy, but a reflection of the evolving moral landscape in which the sanctity of personal experience is increasingly recognized as a vital component of our collective heritage. The narrative encapsulated within this event is multifaceted and rich with implications that extend well beyond the immediate circumstances of the footage. It compels a re-examination of the ways in which society venerates its icons, the responsibilities of institutions in the preservation and dissemination of personal legacies, and the complex relationship between public transparency and individual privacy. The moment captured in that quiet room is not just a record of a final farewell. It is a mirror held up to the enduring tensions that define modern cultural discourse. It challenges preconceived notions about celebrity, legacy, and the sanctity of personal space, urging a deeper contemplation of what it means to truly honor a life lived in both the limelight and the shadows. The enduring legacy of the actor, as now captured in those final moments, invites reflection on the nature of fame itself, a construct that, while powerful, is ultimately fleeting. The interplay of light and shadow in that quiet room mirrors the duality inherent in all lives: the public triumphs and the private struggles, the celebrated achievements, and the inevitable moments of introspection. In this way, the footage becomes more than a mere record of an ending. It is a testament to the complexity of human existence, a narrative that invites ongoing reflection about how we choose to remember those who have profoundly shaped our cultural landscape. The implications of such a release, profound and far-reaching, are set to reverberate through the annals of both cultural history and governmental policy, challenging future generations to find a more harmonious balance between the imperatives of transparency and the sanctity of personal dignity. Every frame of the footage, every subtle gesture captured in the dim light of that private space contributes to an evolving dialogue about the essence of being human. The event encapsulates the tension between an individual's public persona and the private reality that lies beneath, a reality that is often more intricate and moving than the carefully curated images presented to the world. The implications of this tension are vast, influencing not only how we perceive our cultural icons, but also how we, as a society, approach the fundamental questions of identity, mortality, and legacy. In reflecting on these profound themes, one is reminded of the delicate interplay between the forces that shape our collective memory and the personal experiences that ultimately define a life. Through the lens of this disclosure, it becomes possible to glimpse the delicate threads that bind an individual's private self to their public legacy. The quiet, unassuming nature of the setting underscores a universal truth: that behind every grand narrative lies a tapestry of intimate moments, each contributing to the whole in ways that are often imperceptible until viewed in totality. This realization not only redefines the way in which we understand the actor's final moments, but also invites a broader reflection on the role of private experience in the public imagination. It is a poignant reminder that the forces of celebrity and institutional authority, though seemingly disparate, are inextricably linked through the human need for meaning, memory, and ultimately closure. The intricate interplay of these themes, privacy, legacy, state intervention, and personal vulnerability, ensures that the event will remain a subject of deep reflection for years to come. Each moment captured on film is laden with meaning, serving as a testament to the enduring power of personal history to shape cultural narratives. In the interplay between the individual and the institution, between the sacred and the profane, lies a story that is as timeless as it is urgent. A story that compels society to confront the realities of life, death, and the unyielding passage of time. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on the FBI's footage of Gene Hackman? What do you expect? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.